Hello people of YouTube, I'm John and today we have another model from Atlas, so let's go over to the workbench and take a look. Alright, so here's what we're looking at today. This is an HO scale GP40 from Atlas. This one's decorated for Southern Pacific, and looking at Atlas's website, they have two different sort of styles of this model. One is what they call the silver line, or the silver series. Those are DCC ready models. Then there's the gold series, which is what this one is. That's one that has the DCC installed at the factory. And since this is a gold series one, that's what we'll be talking about here. The silver series models go for $189.95. And the DCC equipped ones like this go for $299.95. And I counted on Atlas's website 6 different road names, and each of those road names has 3 different road numbers. It's packaged with an exploded view drawing, some warranty information, and a quick start guide for the ESU version 5 DCC decoder. I've looked at all the markings and all these little labels and stickers and stuff on here. It's all legible. The gray is especially nice. I think it's just having to do with the fact that it's a dark color, so it covers well. So they didn't have to make it extra thick or anything, and it does not obscure any of the detail. All the latches and the doors and the door seams and the grills and everything all look especially good. Especially this little door up here behind the entrance to the cab. Something about that door, to me, makes it look almost like a separately applied piece. And then if you look, you can see there's a little cab figure right in there. There's also a fireman on the other side. So, or I guess it might be a conductor, depending how you're looking at this. So, but yeah, overall though, this presentation's super good. Looking at the cab area, you'll notice that there are separately applied windshield wipers. And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that the model comes with some parts bags. And included in the parts bags are some shades that go over the cab window. So just so you know, that does come with it. You can see that the holes are drilled at the factory. So that's something I'll be putting on before I run this. But since this is how it comes out of the box, that's how we're looking at it. Something else I'm noticing that I like quite a bit is the fact that these are separately applied grabs here. And the sand hatch is also, it looks like a separately applied piece. That looks really good. The grab down in here separately applied. And then if you look at the step well, you can see the little white stripes. And these are see-through steps. They look really good in person. It came with the cut lever. It has your MU hoses down here and a plow. And then on the other side of the coupler there, you can see it has an air hose. And this is, of course, a body-mounted knuckle coupler. The paint on the front of the nose here is also very crisp, and the SP stands out very well on the nose. I thought I'd show you this side as well. You can see that the air hose is here. And it's a little bit flexible. I think it's plastic, but it's a little flexible. And something else pretty cool that we have going on here on the front is it's a movable drop step. It can be placed in the up or down position. So that's pretty cool. So looking at the fireman side, you can see the little figure in here. And also should mention there's a little F, right? That stands for front. And I don't know how well you can see this, but there's a brake ratchet recessed in the nose down in here. There's also a separately applied toolbox next to the blower duct behind the conductor's seat, which is a Southern Pacific thing. From this angle, you can see all the detail in the trucks, and you can also see how there's little red paint picking out details around the fuel tank area here. There's your air tank, and something else kind of cool that a lot of older models didn't have is the inclusion of the jacking pads, one here and one here. So sometimes modelers would have to add that stuff, but not in this case. All right, and looking at the back of the model, you can see that the detail's pretty similar. You have your wire grabs separately applied, and then that ladder there. The drop step also comes down back here. I'm not going to move it, but it's there and it does come down. And you have your other similar details on the back here. Pretty cool. All right, and this will be the last 3/4 view that we look at of this model. I just wanted to show it to you so that you can see the detail that you get on the model. I think overall it looks very good. Something else I'd like to point out before we go on to the top is the fact that the handrail is very straight and looks great. All right, so we're going to look at the top now, and I would point out that there's a separately applied curved grab here, wire grab. That's very nicely done. And I also wanted to point out how much depth there is in the fans, including the dynamic brake fan up here. Looks like they have some pretty good depth going on there. And then, of course, it's a separately applied horn casting mounted toward the back. Okay, and finally, toward the front of the locomotive, you can see the exhaust here and the little various little antenna stuff. This looks like an air conditioning unit to me. Lots of separately applied detail on this model. Makes it look pretty good. It's always my favorite part of the product spotlight to run the model. So let's do that now. We'll see how it looks and sounds. The model has a 5-pole skewed armature motor with dual flywheels for optimum performance at all speeds. And as you can tell, it really crawls at low speeds. All right, so let's take a look at the lights. These are golden white LEDs, and they are directional. The number boards come on with the headlight. So here's your front light, and I think it looks really good. There's no light leaks that I can see. Now you got to remember I'm also looking on a very small screen on the camera, but I don't see any light leaks in person either. So that looks good. Let's take a look at the back lights. Okay, now the rear headlight. Just let me switch directions here. Same thing. Number boards and lights. I'm seeing a little light leak down in here, but otherwise it looks good though. This is a good color for the lights. I don't know if you can tell or how well you can tell on the camera. Looks pretty good. So I have to say I'm very impressed with this model. It has a lot of separately applied stuff that looks really excellent. The paint also looked great. And something else, the fans, they have depth in them that usually you only get that with aftermarket fans like Canon fans. these fans look to me like they wouldn't need to be replaced at all because they have depth and they look good the way they come. So there's just a lot of stuff going on here that I think is a bonus for the end user. Something else I think is worth mentioning is when I first pulled this model out of the box, I have to be honest, I thought, oh no, it doesn't have a Southern Pacific light package. Well, I got curious and I looked up a photo of the prototype 7127 and found that the lights are correct. The photo that I saw actually had a beacon installed on the roof, but that's most likely something that Southern Pacific did after receiving this. So my guess is that this is a very prototypically accurate as delivered model. So good job, Atlas. I'll catch you next time.